Hello again, YouTube. I am very nervous to be making a new video today. We're in for some extreme gardening. What we're about to do is very dicey. It may actually be a failure, but that's all part of it. So we're going to take that risk. We're going to clone this tree by separating the apex from the rest of the tree. So if you look, we have a pretty nice apex of the tree. There's a straight trunk here, and it kind of fans out like a broom. You can't see the inner structure, but I'll show you later. Now, if you watched my earlier video on this tree, I repotted it and I took care of the root situation. Since then, it's doing very well. It is super healthy right now. It's growing vigorously. It's in need of a prune, but right now I want to preserve all the vigor in this tree, so I haven't done any pruning. What we're going to do is air layer the top section of this tree. And what that will do is hopefully produce roots right in this section here while still being attached to the actual tree. If we get roots to produce here, we can chop the tree off right here, stick it in another pot, and boom. We now have shortened the height of the elm while cloning the tree, and we have another elm. So hopefully this goes successfully. It's kind of the deadline to start this procedure. Being I live in Alberta, Canada, I have about till the end of this month to even think about starting this procedure. I think I would say I have 2 months to produce roots on this tree, otherwise it's a complete failure. If winter hits while this tree is undergoing the air layer process, it's certain death for the top half of this tree. Now I'm confident the bottom half will survive. And this is the most important part of this tree, obviously, because we have this great trunk, we have all these branches here. But I find this top to be kind of awkward looking. It's super awkward looking. It's too tall, it's weird, but I love it as its own entity, and let's try it. I've never tried this before. This is my first time ever. It's late in the season to be doing it, but you're not living if you're not risking, so let's send it. I forgot my knife, so I'll go get my knife. Swing! Alright, we got our rusty knife. We got a plastic bag. What I've done before you arrived is set up a bowl full of water filled with sphagnum moss. This is going to be our substrate for rooting. It's nice to have it pre-soaked. Whew, okay, I'm nervous. Let's try it. No time like the present. I also have a bit of excess wire. First things first. I'm scared. Let's pick the spot for our cut. Before I bought this tree, it had this scar. It had clearly been trunk chopped right here, and this was a new shoot that arrived above it. I'll probably take an air layer from this section. So you're going to need a plastic bag to contain the moisture. Now we want to make sure we can wrap it around and secure it. I need to do some pruning, so this has got to go. It's in the way. This has got to go. Also in the way. So I'm just taking off branches that are obscuring the process here and not helping the design of my tree. This upward branch can be removed. These downward branches removed. The theory behind air layering is there's a lot of nutrients and DNA packed in this foliage up here. So what we're doing is cutting a section of bark off and we're taking it down to the xylem. We're removing the actual sap flow, disconnecting the top of the tree from the roots. The top of this tree will not be getting any nutrients from the soil. We're disconnecting that. So the only thing this tree will have is foliage and the DNA stored in the plant of being able to produce roots. The section of where it was cut will be looking for water, and we're going to give it to it. So roots can be produced from the midsection of the bark here. That's the hope, at least. I'm so scared. Okay, let's do it. What I'm doing is cutting into the bark down to the xylem of the tree. But I'm just putting moderate pressure, and we'll peel the bark off and have a look at what we're at. A big part of this hobby is experimentation, trial and error. You cannot be afraid of losing. The xylem can be thought of as the bone of the tree. If I was only concerned with the design of the base, I would just chop this off, the whole top. But I can't afford to be buying trees every year, so I'm going to try to clone this one. Praying for success. Please send all your positive energy to this elm. It's going to need it over the next 2 months. Alright, so we have the bark stripped close to the xylem. Now, there could be still sap flowing from top to bottom. And if there's sap and water coming from the base to the tip, there will be no need for roots to produce here. So we need to scrape this down. Remove any chance of water flowing from top to bottom. Ooh, I think that's about good. On to the next step now. Maintain moisture in a ball around here. Any water that the apex wants, it's going to get from here in order to produce roots here. If we succeed, we can then chop. So what I've done off camera is soak a bowl of moss just with water. This stuff holds water like a sponge. It's very spongy. It's ideal. This is just dead plant matter, but sphagnum moss seems to just maintain its structure and hold tons of water, which is perfect for this. I think the hardest part of this may be actually getting the plastic to stay where we want it. That's not right. The piece is too small. Alright, let's get a reset on that. We may have to sacrifice this branch. Oh my. The taper on this branch is far too thick. We should have a delicate branch at the top of this tree, so I can actually remove this in good conscience. We want the branches to be getting thinner and thinner and thinner to a very delicate point at the tip, so this branch, it needs to go. Just went flying. We're going to put this in water and try to get some roots to sprout on that too. This is not part of the plan, but if we can clone it twice, I'd be winning. So now we have all this room to work. We're treading in dangerous waters right now. Okay, we have maybe a better option here. This is just a grocery store bag that we've had stored in the closet. And just wrap it around. So get that on there moderately tight. Overlap it so no moisture gets out. Now we need to fill this up with moisture. So we'll start dumping this wet moss in there. Get nice 360-degree coverage. I am very busy actually. I'll call you back. Almost done here for now. So we're going to tuck this in nice so all the leaves can still get their sun. So I will keep an eye on this, and I'll be making sure this moss is moist for the next 2 months straight. Wish me luck, YouTube. And please stay tuned for the development of this air layer. It could be a great success, or I could end up going from a beautiful bonsai to nothing. I embrace the challenge, and let's get the final tie on this. It's not the most beautiful setup, but it's scientific. And science is magic. Magic is awesome. So we're just going to get a nice secure grip on this. And now we have water held on the xylem of the tree, soaked in by the sphagnum moss. And we also have a new cutting to try and propagate. We have a potential for 2 bonsais to come out of this. I'm hoping for the best. I'll be watching this every day. This is the scariest day of my life. Send your thoughts, please, to this Chinese elm. Thank you for watching. Happy propagation. And please like my videos, and please subscribe if you want to see more bonsai content. Wow. Air layering. Extreme horticulture. This is the cutting I took off of the elm. I added a bunch of moss to the bowl, and it's sitting in moist moss. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more bonsai and skateboarding goodness. Peace.